There are two soaring soccer clubs that have been on an unavoidable crash course, and now in just 6 minutes at 7:36 Central Time on July 7th, they will finally collide. It's what we've been waiting for. Cincinnati and Nashville for the first time. It is game night for the Nashville Soccer Club, but this night is unlike any we have ever seen in Middle Tennessee. This is quite simply the most anticipated professional soccer match that this city has ever seen, and that is why we are at a buzzing Nissan Stadium, one of the only places in Music City massive enough to host an event of this magnitude. Tonight in the Tennessee Twilight, one of the most hyped and long-awaited regular season contests in the United Soccer League's history. It is Nashville SC and FC Cincinnati meeting on the soccer pitch for the very first time. Excited to have you with us up in our broadcast position. I'm John Freeman, joined by former Vanderbilt women's soccer coach Ronnie Woodard, and this is one of the games of the year in the USL. Nashville third in the Eastern Conference, FC Cincinnati top of the table. The first ever meeting between two teams that are quickly rivals. Ronnie, it's a special night in Nashville.
Well, this is it. This is the game that both clubs have been waiting for, separated by 5 hours and a mere 2 spots in the USL standings. Number 1 Cincinnati has traveled south to play against number 3 Nashville, and they've been welcomed with open arms. Both crowds are rowdy. This is surely to set up to be a huge rivalry.
There's 2 of us up here at the broadcast position at Nissan Stadium. There's 1 of us down on the field. It's Arnada Taha.
It is an absolutely gorgeous night in Nashville for some soccer. And I talked to Coach Gary Smith earlier about how important this game is and how important a win could mean for the city and the team.
I think for a brand new group and an organisation that are seeing so many firsts, to beat this Cincinnati group who are top of the table, having ourselves been on a very decent run, would certainly draw a little bit of a line in the sand for us and say we've moved to another level, and we've seen some incremental progress again. And I don't want to lose sight of that. We've made some good progress. A loss or a defeat doesn't change where we go throughout the season, but certainly in front of a big crowd and in a wonderful stadium, we'd like nothing more than to put on a good show.
He's so right, guys. I mean, it's already loud and crazy here. I'm excited. I know you're excited. I can't wait for this match.
Thank you, Nada. We get ready for Nashville SC and FC Cincinnati. For the very first time, these two squads, these massive clubs meet at Nissan Stadium. Your starting lineups and the opening kickoff coming up when we return. They have waited years for this matchup, and let's reveal our starting lineups brought to you by Pinnacle Financial. First for the visitors from Cincinnati, it is a 4-4-2 with a diamond midfield for Alan Koch's squad. As we take a look at the TIFO unveiled by the supporters, there are the starting 11s for FC Cincinnati. As we pull up their starting lineups, there is the 4-4-2 with that diamond in the midfield. The players up top, Manu Ledesma, Nazmi Al-Badawi, and Danny Koenig. They're 23 goals combined this season. That is 7 more goals than Nashville SC as a club has scored all season. They are led by Alan Koch, the South African, rumored to be a candidate this week for the vacant New York Red Bulls MLS job. Those rumors squashed with the hiring of Chris Armas. It has been decided that Koch will be the manager next year for Cincinnati in their maiden MLS campaign. On the other end, Gary Smith makes 2 changes from Nashville's 3-0 win last weekend versus Atlanta United 2. London Woodbury and Taylor Washington are the casualties. Bradley Bourgeois and Matt LaGrassa are in. Goalkeeper Matt Pickens, the most clean sheets in the league, with 8. But a game of this magnitude, you need a gladiator in the middle of the pitch. For Nashville, Ronnie, that is their captain, Michael Reed.
Well, as everybody knows, I'm an enormous fan of Michael Reed. He's the rock of Nashville's midfield, and every team needs a leader. You will see him going box to box, connecting passes for Nashville and doing the dirty work defensively.
Nashville SC is led by Gary Smith, the 49-year-old who told us when speaking of FC Cincinnati, he said, quote, "We don't have to give them too much respect. I want to press them and get the crowd behind us." Policing the game tonight is Laurent Varga. The home side is unbeaten in his last 9 USL matches, officiated going back to 2017. This year, no red cards and just 1 penalty kick given. Well, for everybody in this stadium, it could be an enthralling and unforgettable evening. You get the sense tonight that anything can happen, and it probably will. It's Cincinnati and Nashville for the first ever time. There is no going back in this rivalry after that opening whistle. It is now, and it is forever. Nashville attacking left to right as you see it in the all gold, and Cincinnati in the road orange and blue. John Freeman, Ronnie Woodard, Nada Taha with you live at Nissan Stadium. First touch for Brandon Allen. Curial forward for Nashville SC. Scored in their last contest against Atlanta United 2. Kosuke Kimura, the 34-year-old Japanese midfielder, finding Lebo Moloto, the team's premier playmaker.
Right from the start, John, it's nice to see Kimura already up in the attacking third and joining in.
Gary Smith told us the game plan early was to get the fullbacks high up the field for Nashville. And Kimura already making inroads down this near sideline. Danny Koenig, the Danish striker, is possessed by fellow European Liam Doyle.
Solid tackle by Doyle, great timing. Then had the ability to get his head up, look, switch the point of attack to Justin Davis, and keeps Nashville solely in possession of the ball.
Justin Davis did 2-a-day workouts in the offseason for moments like this. The fittest players on the roster. First involvement for Bolu Akinyodi, a destroyer of a midfielder. Leads the team in tackles. Matt Pickens called into action. 36-year-old father of 2. Only player on the roster to have played every single USL minute for Nashville SC.
Lovely touch by Moloto.
We've had some great environments all season, Ronnie. This is next level.
Oh, I love that early and quick.
LaGrassa early service.
Love the quick throw in and the transition from Nashville right at the very beginning of this game. And they are swarming defensively. Look at how many players they have committed high, pressuring the ball right now.
They've got FC Cincinnati pinned back until this long ball seeking for Manu Ledesma, and a foot race with Bradley Bourgeois, who is back in the lineup after injury against Atlanta United 2, showing off his wheels early.
Well, and I think Coach Smith likes the fact that Bourgeois brings in such a great athleticism. As you could see right there, he's very difficult to expose and get in behind when he's faced up 1 versus 1, and when he's recovering on his runs defensively. He's very athletic.
The strike force for FC Cincinnati, the most dangerous in the league. 3 players with 7 or more goals. Trying to get in. Corbin Bone behind the defense. Midfielder from Texas couldn't quite get there. There's Matt Pickens. Nashville superstar goalkeeper, 16 starts for Pickens this year. You just wonder, he's a big game player. Is it one of those nights where he's 8 feet tall with a 20-foot wingspan?
Well, there's no doubt about that. I think he's going to be called upon regularly in this game. It's just going to be a box-to-box game. There's going to be big moments, there's going to be big saves, there's going to be big goals, and there's going to be big excitement. Just get ready for it.
Cincinnati this season averages over 2 goals per game. Nashville SC allows less than a goal per game.
They are stingy defensively. That makes for a really exciting day, doesn't it, John?
Sure does, as both teams try and get a vice grip on this match. Gary Smith on the sideline already politicking at the 4th official. FC Cincinnati, as we expected, has brought a heavy contingent of supporters. Both supporters groups marched in about 30 minutes before the game started. Scarves raised, lungs emptying. Abadawi, touch along to Koenig. The range of Bolu Akinyodi. It's going to be hard to get through this Nashville midfield with Akinyodi the anchor of it.
I like the idea that Doyle just had there. LaGrassa was streaming out of the midfield and trying to get in behind that back four on an unbalancing ball. Liam Doyle has the ability to play a left-footed ball on a dime exactly where he wants it, about 40 to 50 yards, if not more, consistently. So I think that Nashville's testing this defense early to see if they can catch them high.
First physical confrontation of the match. It's drawn the entrance of Laurent Varga. Varga hasn't officiated many big games this season. In fact, the average attendance at the games he's officiated a little less than 3,200. There's the foul as Varga had words for Kenny Walker, the outside back, but it was Ledesma involved in the challenge. It's Justin Davis who's slow to get up. It sets up a free kick in a peculiar position for Nashville SC. Lebo Maloto to provide the service. Cut out by Walker. Forward by Reed. Bourgeois onside. The answer is no.
Yeah, he was offside. He was a little behind the play. I think the idea by Michael Reed to play an early ball back in behind as Cincinnati was stepping, you can catch them in transition and there could be a lot of space, thus exposing their goal. But unfortunately, Bourgeois was recovering a little bit slowly and broke down that attack with an offside call.
Bourgeois, an athletic and charismatic defender who has a knack for hanging around the 18-yard box on set pieces. He assisted on the game-winning goal and perhaps the most famous moment of the season that Ropapa Mensah scored in stoppage time against North Carolina FC last month. They're over the top ball. Koenig in a battle with Bourgeois once more. Texan trying to see it out. Koenig was the last to touch it. Keep up to date with Nashville SC all season long by visiting NashvilleSC.com. Access the latest team news, content, merchandise, ticket offers, promotions, and more. Check out NashvilleSC.com today.
Well, while we have a look at Bourgeois right there, he has an amazing leaping ability. And his timing on various different types of services, whether it's a ball served into the box defensively, whether he's attacking a corner kick, or whether he's winning a 50-50 challenge in the midfield. His leaping ability and his timing on his jumping is absolutely fantastic. And you'll see that throughout the day today.
Bourgeois wasn't really on Nashville SC's radar when they were signing players, but last season he played in Tulsa with his now teammate and back then teammate Kosuke Kimura, and Kimura tipped off the Nashville coaches saying, you've got to sign this guy, Bradley Bourgeois, and Gary Smith labeled him as the most surprising player of the season. We talked to him just a few weeks ago on a conference call, and Liam Doyle took a heavy hit and already tempers flaring.
John, that was not a heavy hit. That was a late, deliberate hit to Liam Doyle in the open field, and I'm glad the referee was right on top of it, and now we're trying to get him a little help up. However, it was a bit unnecessary this early in the match, and Liam Doyle, it's good to see him up and moving, but if we get a replay of that foul, you can see the severity of it.
It's all chopped down by Ledesma, and you can see in his conference with Laurent Varga, the official, Varga holding up 2 fingers to signal that is your second foul. And I think Ledesma is on thin ice.
It's a little early in this match, only 8 minutes in to be on thin ice. So I think that's going to change his game a bit. Fiery Argentinian player Ledesma leads the team in goals and assists. And what you just saw was a bit of frustration and a bit of makeup by Leon Goyle. He kicked the first person that he just saw and got away with it, I might add. But that happens in the sport a lot.
It was Danny Koenig who absorbed the retaliation.
I'd say Ledesma owes him one.
Been a bright start for Nashville. The ball has been on this half of the field for the majority of what is now the first 9 or so minutes. It's a natural grass surface tonight. The stadium hosted both CMA Fest, Country Music Festival, and also Monster Jam. So monster trucks were on this, and it was covered with dirt. They had to scoop all of the dirt out of this stadium and then put down sod roughly about a week ago.
Well, an enormous shout out to the grounds crew, because this pitch is impeccable right now.
Gary Smith, the Nashville SC coach, actually got to decide the dimensions of the field tonight. And it could have been a wider, longer field, but he instead made it the exact dimensions of First Tennessee Park, which is where Nashville plays most of its home games. A more narrow field because it's in a baseball stadium. It's one of the luxuries you have as the home team. You get to choose the dimensions. It's Brandon Allen. Matt LaGrassa is calling for the cross. Allen couldn't get off of his feet. LaGrassa was wide open.
Oh, what a streaming run. Unopposed inside of the 18 by Matt LaGrassa.
Chance here still for Nashville. It's Kosuke Kamura. Cross comes in. LaGrassa was in the area. It's banged away by Deckel Kanon, the center back and the captain. It'll be Nashville's first Coca-Cola corner kick of the day.
Lovely little ball in the seam from Melodo. A perfectly played ball in from Kamura in that front post to a streaming LaGrassa. He's getting into the front post. He was a little bit in front of it and a little bit early on his run. However, he got lucky and a defensive player from FC Cincinnati got a nick on it, and thus we have a corner kick now.
2 players standing over the corner kick, Lebo Melodo and Alan Wynn interested. Big center backs have ventured forward for Nashville. Peshwa!
And there's that leaping ability.
He almost always gets his head to it. Rarely is it on target, though. And you can sense his frustration for Bradley Bourgeois. He is 4th on the team in shots as a center back, and every single one of his shots this season have come from set pieces just like this. He's been honing his sights all campaign.
Well, of course, we've already addressed his leaping ability, and we're going to continue to see that throughout the match. But it really is tremendously gifted in that aspect of the game. It's a special quality that he possesses.
It's a buzzing start for Nashville.
I've been impressed with the speed of play for Nashville so far. We've done a lot of games for them this year, and I would say that this is the strongest start that we've seen so far. The ball movement is good. The runs are dynamic coming out of the midfield, and their transition to defending has been consistent.
Lebo Melodo! Right into the waiting mitts of Evan Newton, the 30-year-old goalkeeper. Well, have a crack, why don't you, Melodo? That is his sweet spot. He scored several goals from the top of the 18 this season.
Melodo loves to get a tiny little window about 18 to 20 yards away and just let it rip. And he has the ability to find the center of the ball and put a little bit of texture on it. And the pace coming out of goalkeeper is very deceptive sometimes. And so you'll look to see him try to free himself up often.
Was the first shot on goal of the day, so the first save of the day as well. It's Evan Newton, the goalkeeper tonight for FC Cincinnati, the Virginia Beach native. Played his college soccer at Old Dominion. He was signed from Sacramento Republic over the offseason, so he's played soccer on both coasts. Wasn't expected to be a major contributor. Fought his way into the lineup and beat out Spencer Ritchie, an MLS goalkeeper who's on loan from Vancouver. And it's Newton who gets the start in what would be probably FC Cincinnati's biggest game of the season. Brandon Allen! Goodness gracious, Nashville SC is out for blood.
Not the normal look by Brandon Allen, is it? Normally we find Brandon Allen making a perfectly timed run into the box, but he found a window on that left foot and he just let it rip. We normally see him finishing more balls inside of the 18, but at this point, I think Nashville's really trying to challenge this back line and this goalkeeper.
FC Cincinnati is a very slow starting team on the road this season. In fact, on average, they have conceded by the 22nd minute on the road. That is quicker than any team in the Eastern Conference, including Toronto FC2, who's given up 43 goals already through 17 games this season. How can the team at the top of the table, Ronnie, be such slow starters?
Is sometimes teams need to establish a bit of a rhythm throughout the game, and you were seeing it right now in the midst of this game. Nashville's come out firing, and FC Cincinnati hasn't found the rhythm of the game yet. They haven't had the ball. They haven't had any sniffs on the attacking third of the field. And so it appears that they might be a little bit of a slow starter, which is not comforting, I'm sure, to their coach.
The combination in the midfield. Melodo overran the pass from Michael Reed. Michael Lahoud farther back towards his goal.
Great defensive pressure and pressing by Michael Reed.
Crafty touch by Hoyt to spring himself, and now this is where FC Cincinnati thrives. On the counter-attack, a play on was given for a moment, but Lebo Melodo came sliding in and took down Cosme Aldawi. Now Melodo's going to have a discussion with Laurent Varga.
For being 15 minutes into the game, there are quite a few discussions with the referee already. I think this is going to shape up to be quite the physical match.
And a yellow card coming out for Lebo Melodo.
Wow, that's unexpected and a bit premature, in my opinion. I mean, there's no doubt that I think that was a foul in the center of the midfield, and not a bad decision by Melodo, trying to slow the play down, allow his team to get in behind numbers. There's a dangerous counterattacking opportunity, so you have to make that decision. But I'm not sure that it warrants a yellow card.
The yellow card, at the top of our screen, it says Allen, and it is on Melodo for the late foul. Ronnie, this was a flammable rivalry before it began, but it has caught fire. This is a physical game already. See Cincinnati wanting to get things back under play quickly. Nonsense clearance from Justin Davis. Corbin Bone cleared away by the shaved head of Liam Doyle. Contested that ball at midfield. It's Kanon who won out. Another go at it. This time Kanon goes right through the back of Allen. This is going to be a difficult night for Laurent Varga, the center official.
We have 2 bookings in 16 minutes of play.
Every official wants the match to end with 22 on the pitch, but at this pace, Ronnie, that could be in jeopardy.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's going on is in these early stages, the referee is establishing himself and what his barriers and his rules are for the game, what he's going to tolerate and what he's not going to tolerate. He's made a very strong stance on what he's going to accept throughout this match, and both teams are now going to have to comply. Both have very large impact players sitting on a yellow card 15 minutes into the match.
Don't miss out on any of Nashville SC's content, prizes, promotions, and behind-the-scenes action. Follow the Twitter handle Nashville SC on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat today. Allen can control this in front of Forrest Lasso. Hoyt. Lahoud. The captain, Blake Smith, kept that in bounds, just barely.
Good clearance by Pickens.
Grassa rising to win the header over Smith.
Wow, play on.
Give Melodo time on this sideline. He connects with Kosuke Kamura.
I like that decision by Melodo. It allowed Nashville to switch the point of attack and try to draw Cincinnati out. see if they can find a pocket in the midfield, which now there they are. They've committed, and now Nashville needs to try to play that ball through the center of the field and expose Cincinnati, because now they're stretched.
18 minutes in, a captivating contest. Good looks for Nashville. Not a whole lot going from FC Cincinnati. Nashville SC this season in 19 games has only been scored on first 4 times. They are historically hot starters. Also going back to his goalkeeper, Newton.
And again, Nashville pressing.
Real rushed clearance from Newton, the goalkeeper.
Well, when you look up and you have someone of the size of Michael Reed running at you under pressure inside of your 6, you've got to make a really quick decision with that ball. And Michael Reed has now put pressure on Newton. 2 times the ball has been played back, and he has flown out of the midfield and pressured him. Excellent use of his body to maintain control of the ball and earn a goal kick for Nashville. Well done.
Peshwa again.
Again, Bradley Bourgeois. He's going to be busy today. When you're looking at, the attacking front line of Ledesma and Koenig for Cincinnati, he's got his hands full. He's going to have to be good, and he's going to have to be smart. He's going to have to be athletic, and he's going to have to be good with the ball at his feet, as is Liam Doyle. Because right now, when you're playing a 2 front, your 2 center backs are lined up in a 2 versus 2 situation with no cover. And defensively, you always want 1 extra player defensively. So it's very risky that Cincinnati is putting 2 players up there and putting Nashville under pressure. So Kimura and Davis are going to play vital roles in that back 4 today.
Room to roam for Corbin Bone, the original members of this club. Gazals trying to enter the attacking third. Nashville in this game, 66% of the possession, and it will continue to build now as Davis marauding down the far sideline. Finds Alan Wynn, scored in the last contest. It's the New York Red Bulls 2 squad. Who destroys the attack. Bone launches downfield for Ledesma. It's the matchup that they want. If they can isolate Ledesma one-on-one against any one of Nashville SC's defenders, look out.
Oh, he's dangerous with the ball at his feet.
7 goals in his last 9 games for Emmanuel Ledesma. He goes by Manu to most of the FC Cincinnati fans, averaging a goal every 152 minutes.
Well, John, not only is he a great goal scorer and he has a wicked left foot, but he also has 8 assists on the year, which leads the USL halfway through the season. So he's both dangerous when he's looking to score a goal and when he's looking to create.
It puts him right at the top of the ballot for MVP in the USL. He's probably the leading candidate. The best player on what has been the best team, first place FC Cincinnati. Nashville sitting 3rd in the table. Kimura combining with LaGrassa. Overlapping was the captain, Michael Reed. The cross comes in towards Brandon Allen. Can he turn on this? Kanon knocks him down in the box. Allen back onto his feet. Down again for the 2nd time. Appeals for a penalty. And none given by Laurent Varga.
I don't think anyone that would rewatch that replay would say that that was a foul. That was an excellent theatrical addition by Brandon Allen on the first touch of the ball.
Happened right in front of the Nashville SC supporters. It's Alan Koch, the FC Cincinnati coach, the 43-year-old South African, upset as well.
He's touched, he's got a good base, but then he dives forward. Now, to his credit, he gets up and tries to play again, and then maybe a foul had occurred. But however, I think the referee had a clear view of it and an opinion that it was to play on.
Boluak Yodi has extracted the possession in the midfield, and he's hit Alan Wynn at a full gallop. He has Moloto to his right. Alan Wynn cuts it onto his right foot, trying to free himself for the shot. Instead, it's Allen, and it's cleared away by Dekel Kena. Here come the replays. It's Alan Wynn with pace
You can't tell from that replay, but Nashville had a 3 versus 2 situation going to goal, and then Wynn cut straight across the top of the 18, and it gave Cincinnati an opportunity to get in behind. His last errant touch got a little bit in front of him, but what a great opportunity, and Brandon Allen just saw the advantage and got up there and struck a nicely clean ball right on frame. Blocked before it got there.
Davis, who attempted the cross and was deflected on the way out. Missed out on season tickets and still want to secure your place in line for the MLS? Check out Nashville SC Flex Plans and choose 5 or more games to attend this summer. Flex Plans start at only $14 per match and will secure your place in line for MLS season tickets. Purchase your Flex Plans today at NashvilleSC.com. The Coca-Cola corner kick taken quickly. It's rolled to Michael Reed. Michael Reed! The captain firing the cannon himself, and it's just high and wide. Ronnie, is this a play right out of the training ground?
Quite possibly, although technically, I think Michael Reed came across it a little bit, came off the outside of his right foot, and went out, hit a couple of, I believe, the supporter groups over there in the stands. So far for Cincinnati, LaHood has played an active role of denying the opportunity to play a channeled ball into Brandon Allen's feet. And he's been quick enough to be able to break up any type of attack from Nashville's midfield going towards the Cincinnati goal. His athleticism is shining through so far.
There's the irrepressible Lebo Maloto. Sitting behind Alan Wynn, who was at a full sprint. Win in the last match versus Atlanta United 2 was clocked at 20 miles per hour top speed in the first half of that game. He is one of the most dynamic and fastest players in the league. He's got a 33-year-old Justin Hoyt defending him all night. That's the right back for FC Cincinnati. Lodo asking for the service from LaGrassa, and it's delivered to the South African. Denied by Kanon. Swept up by Al-Badawi. Big challenge from LaGrassa. It's found Alan Wynn. Now Maloto. Maloto sweeps it into the box. No trouble for Newton.
No, not at all. I would have rather seen Maloto play the ball to this overlapping LaGrassa over here on the right flank.
Al-Badawi with room to roam. Dials a pass to Corbin Bone. Kenny Walker. Justin Hoyt, former Arsenal player, was a member of the Invincibles, a team that went undefeated in the Premier League. Hoyt involving himself into the attack, finding Koenig into the 18. Davis defending, chopped back towards Hoyt. The outside back goes down in a heap, and looked at the official, Laurent Varga, who again keeps his whistle silent. It'll take a lot to get a penalty in this game.
Not a card, though.
Varga has officiated 7 USL games this season and has only given 1 penalty. That's below the league average.
So far today, I've really enjoyed the battle of both teams. The game's settled down a little bit now, and they're both putting each other under a tremendous amount of pressure when the ball is in possession.
Alan Wynn went down. And Kenny Walker, the FC Cincinnati player, walking away from that challenge, put his hands together in a talking motion at Boluak and Yodi. To say he talked too much was what he was signaling, and he also used the flopping symbol with his hands, and that is certainly not a flop.
Absolutely.
It's a clear-cut foul.
If you look closely, I think it's a little bit of retaliation because I believe that he had just been megged.
Lebo Maloto sends it in towards Bradley Peshwa. Cleared away by Kanon. Still work to do for LaHood. It's Matt LaGrassa who somehow earns a throw-in out of this. LaHood is in for Richie Ryan, the normal central defensive midfielder at the bottom of that midfield diamond for FC Cincinnati. Ryan out for 3 to 6 weeks with a leg injury. Lahoud was signed mid-season from Miami FC. Got a little bit more backbone in this FC Cincinnati midfield. Whiff from Koenig. To the midfield, Abadawi trying to get there before Alan Wynn. It's an expert slide tackle. Wynn was pulled from behind, but a play on. Lebo Maloto again. Once more, it's Evan Newton with the flat-footed save. 6 shots already now for Nashville SC in this first half. That's a misplay by Liam Doyle. Ledesma is in! Just wide. Peshwa trying to clean up the loose change. And Kosuke Kimura trying to keep it in bounds and couldn't. Near disaster in the back line for Nashville, but we stay scoreless in the 29th minute.
What a quick transition from Wynn jumping over a tackle and a play on one side to a defensive error, resulting in a clear off the line for Nashville.
This ball has gone all the way to the back post. And for the second time in a minute, it is Manu Ledesma missing a clear-cut opportunity.
I don't think Nashville can afford to give up too many clear-cut opportunities for Ledesma. He will find the way to put the ball in the back of the net. He's proved that time and time again this year. So Nashville needs to exhale on this goal kick, regroup, and get themselves refocused and back on how they were playing to begin with.
That one sat on Ledesma's dangerous left foot. Harry Smith, the Nashville SC coach, called it only the most dangerous left foot in the USL, but perhaps in the league in the United States. He's absolutely lethal when he gets it onto his left, but it's the volley inside the 18, and we stay scoreless. Absolute enthralling game. No goals yet, Rodney, but it has delivered in every aspect. Keep up with the best social media from around the USL. Join Kelsey Steele every Friday on the USL social media channels for the latest edition of Off the Post. Grassa looks across the ball in. 45% of his crosses this season are on target. That's first on the team. He's going to play a variety of roles tonight. He's drifted more inwards. It's opened up room for Kosuke Kimura. Kimura continues his run down the channel. Grassa. Allen. Davis. Justin Davis, blocked by Kenny Walker. Doyle now involving himself by going forward. Alan Wynn. The whole stadium inhales when he takes a player one-on-one. It's about all that Justin Hoyt could do. That is a great matchup. The young Alan Wynn in his first professional season against Justin Hoyt, a man who has 83 Premier League appearances. Arsenal squad back in 2003 that went unbeaten. Cross comes in towards the Grassa. It rolls as far as Allen. The attack of the 18. Tough spot to turn it over as Abadawi went crashing in to Kosuke Kimura. The Nashville players are going to wonder why that's not a yellow card after Lebo Maloto was whistled for a yellow card much earlier in this match for a similar looking slide tackle.
Extremely similar.
It was that Maloto's was trying to deny a counter-attacking run from Cincinnati, and that was just a simple challenge.
Right.
Abadawi.
Right. Maloto was breaking up an attack that was going on goal, which is considered to be a little bit more dangerous than a yellow card infraction. This one was simply a little bit of a late tackle.
So set piece for Nashville. So far this season, when they have it dead on, they typically go to a post and try and head it back across the face of goal. They found success with that. Instead, it's Liam Doyle who's going to pull out the driver, and it is well over the green and in the bunker.
It's quite the left foot. that Liam Doyle has. And I think he just proved that well within his shooting range. Although it was not on frame, he certainly had the leg and the distance to get it there.
Doyle does have a goal this season. It came off of a set piece on the road against Charleston. It was a little bit closer to the target. That free kick was. Desma and a crowd. Doyle hit the back of a player that he was defending. It's enough to draw the whistle, and now FC Cincinnati will have a set piece.
Actually, I think that may have been Justin Davis, and he escaped quickly after the whistle was blown.
It was Koenig, the striker, who went down.
Oh, no. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. It was Liam Doyle.
Nashville holding a high line on this free kick. Kane on the center back. Showing interest at the top of the 18.
Nashville has all 11 players behind the ball right now.
Morris Lasso, the other center back, has moved forward as well.
Not a great ball. Served in by FC Cincinnati. It was into the first line of the defense, easily cleared by Nashville. I think they should have done a better job clearing that ball. However, it was pretty textbook.
Lasso being pressured by LaGrassa. It's a careless turnover from Lahoud. He'll clean up his own mess. Bone trying to send Koenig on his way. Koenig trying to turn around Peshwa. And that is how you defend one of the top offensive players in the league. Koenig speaks Danish. Nicky speaks English. And Bradley Bourgeois is certainly giving him plenty of language.
Bradley Bourgeois just said, don't try it. He waved his finger at him and said, don't try it. I think it's time for this conversation between the referee and Koenig and Bourgeois. They've been having a pretty physical battle. Both of them a little handsy, both of them pulling on jerseys, both of them giving a little kick.
Now Bourgeois was arguing there's a little kick at the end here.
I believe that's what we saw, and to begin with, Koenig had his jersey. So Bourgeois was shielding to get the ball out of bounds. Koenig has his jersey. There we go. Nice little sportsmanship, a good hug. They hugged it out.
That might last about 2 more minutes.
They're going to kick each other again, but at least they made up for now. It's been a great battle, to be honest. That's been my most enjoyable battle so far, is watching those two.
It's a rivalry that really does have some volcanic qualities to it, as Brandon Allen has run on, trying to turn Brandon Allen on his left foot. His weekend on its way. Keenan, the center back, again in a battle, and end-to-end, Ronnie. We're getting these individual matchups. In this case, it's Allen against the Israeli center back, Keenan. And did that touch a hand? I don't think many people saw how quick the shot hit off perhaps the hand of Keenan. We may get another replay in a second, but a whole lot of appeals from Allen as Al-Badawi at the top of the 18. Sprays it wide. Koenig dampened by Justin Davis. Cleared to safety as far as Hoyt. If it did hit the hand, the shot from Allen, you can't make the argument that it was intentionally handled, which is how the rule is written.
Right, and they describe it when you speak to a referee as ball to hand or hand to ball, and that's their deciding factor.
Easy night for Matt Pickens.
Well, I'm glad to see that he got a touch on the ball, because sometimes goalkeepers can get lost in the flow of the game and get a little cold, and so it's nice that he can come off his line, clean one up, and then distribute quickly to keep him involved.
Allen win, a one-on-one against Hoyt. Melodo weaving his way through traffic, expertly defended by Walker. Hefty challenge from LaGrassa, took it right away.
Quick, immediate chase. Oh, Melodo's got to be a little bit more prepared than that. LaGrassa's going to do all that work to chase back, win a tackle like that. Melodo's got to be expecting that ball to come into him.
Gary Smith had decisions to make in terms of his lineup. A player that he really likes is this steely midfielder in Matt LaGrassa. That is a challenge in a rivalry game.
Lovely battle. Matt LaGrassa has done the work today, John. He has been one of those box-to-box players. He's chasing on an immediate chase defensively when Nashville loses possession, and then offensively, he is streaking down this sideline asking for the ball.
These two teams met in the preseason. It was a 2-2 game up in Cincinnati. LaGrassa actually scored in that game.
I think at that point, Nashville was in a 3-5-2 and LaGrassa was playing central. Since then, the group has evolved into a different system, and now they've settled into a 4-back system. And getting Kimura and Justin Davis more involved into the attack, which has allowed LaGrassa to have a little bit more flexibility in that final third.
LaGrassa still doesn't have a USL goal this season, although he's been close in many instances.
And a lovely little touch from Meloto. Off his chest, spinning, switching the point. It's fantastic.
Soccer fans, pick up the latest NSC gear today online at shop.nashvillesc.com or come by our team store located at 650 Rundle Avenue.
So what you're seeing right now with the flow of the game is you've got two contrasting styles. You've got Nashville that's playing with wide players that are getting their feet on the touchline. If you look up right now, Kasuke Kimura is all the way up here, joining into the attack. On the contrary, you're playing against a Cincinnati team that's playing a diamond midfield. So as you can see, the space for Nashville, the attack is wide, and that's what they've been really effective with so far.
Davis crossed to Meloto, just wide.
Again, get it central, knocked it wide, service from a defender into the box to Meloto.
That header from Lebo Meloto is his 36th touch of the night. That is 11 more than any player on the field, and it's nearly the first goal in this game.
Unopposed, too. The run inside the box. He had stepped in front of the defender, got a head on it. I think he'd like to see that one back a bit. But then it just hammers home the point a little bit more about what we were just discussing. The width has gone to Nashville's advantage so far in this match because of the style and the system that Cincinnati is playing.
Rare spell of possession for the visitors. Lahoud, the pivot point. Blake Smith is the 8th overall pick in the MLS draft. 25 MLS appearances for Montreal. Was actually a college teammate with Justin Davis and Michael Reed. He was a Lobo with them at University of New Mexico.
Well, little known fact too that no one really talks about much, but Justin Davis's wife was a women's soccer player at New Mexico too. So soccer is going to run in their family.
Nashville SC 9 shots in this half. Cincinnati with just 2. Smith embargoes the crossfield pass. And Yodi whistled for the foul in the midfield. It's been a dynamic and inventive first half for Nashville, just still searching for that first goal. For FC Cincinnati, determined, not necessarily dangerous. They had a few good looks for what up until last night was the top scoring team in the USL. They were, and then Red Bull's 2 squad dropped 6 goals on Atlanta United 2 in Friday night game and vaulted them in the most goals category.
6 goals in a night's a good night.
It's a good couple nights if you put them together.
That's true. Whatever they're doing in training, they need to replicate that and do that over and over again.
Kimura turns right past Bone. Allen, a rare touch on the defensive side of the field.
He was really deep receiving that ball, but here he goes, getting forward. This is when he's good, the timing of his run in pockets inside of the 18.
Win. Meloto. Training his sights. LaGrassa back for Meloto! Off the post!
That was a better look on frame. What a nice little rhythm.
The neat 1-2 pass at the top of the 18, and Melodo, you get the feeling he may have one in him tonight. Each shot getting closer and closer to the target that Evan Newton guards. And now on the other end, it's Koenig in a foot race. And Matt Pickens able to get there before the Danish striker.
That was expertly read by Matt Pickens because that was an incredibly dangerous ball. Liam Doyle's back was to the field, and he was retreating. And that was an issue for Nashville in that particular situation. And Matt Pickens read it fantastic and came out and cleaned it up.
Is there a goal in this half? As we churn into the 44th minute. Kosuke Kimura, adventurous run. Matt LaGrassa farther downfield to Melodo, wide open! Saved by Newton! How in the world has Lebo Melodo not scored in this game? Still a chance building, though, for Nashville. LaGrassa, Melodo wants it again. Serve towards Allen Wynn and over his head. Davis trying to beat the ball to the sideline and gets there just in time. Step overs against the former Premier League outside back in Hoyt. Reinserted by Davis, smashed away by Forrest Lasso. Crowd wants it here, just 1 minute of stoppage time. We'll have all the highlights at halftime, and they are coming in furiously as Nashville seeking the opening goal. Allen Wynn, Melodo back for Wynn, who ran the return pass. And now it's Cincinnati a chance to spring the counterattack at the feet. Moving Corbin Bone. Slide tackle from Liam Doyle. Nashville's got to get back to defend here. Got numbers backwards. This is the last player they want on the ball. It's Ledesma on his right foot. It's over the head of Pickens, but over the crossbar. A rare right-footed shot from Ledesma. Well, how well do you know the USL? Test your knowledge in USLsoccer.com's weekly picks competition every Tuesday, and you could win tickets to an upcoming USL game of your choice. Surprised to see Ledesma use the right foot right.
And well, that was a tight little window, a quick little technical release. He caught the center of the ball, probably made, Matt Pickens take notice that he was comfortable going on his right foot for that particular strike on frame.
Just 1 minute of stoppage time. Seconds remaining in this first half. You cannot take your eyes off of this one. It has been high flying from the start. The only thing it hasn't had is a goal. Bone with room to shoot off the back of Doyle. Melodo a chance to spring one last thrust forward for Nashville SC. It's a lung-busting run from Allen Wynn. Receives the pass from Melodo, who continues his run. Wynn a one-on-one against Walker. Cuts it onto his right foot. Matt LaGrassa eyeing the shot onto his left. Just wide again.
Love the choice by Allen Wynn, playing that ball back to the last trailer at the top of the 18. Well taken by LaGrassa. Took a nice, neat touch, put it on his left foot, and struck it on frame.
It is a breathtaking first half, and it comes to its conclusions. The players some of them are even down on the pitch trying to gather their breath. The supporters as well, trying to get some oxygen in this one. 45 minutes gone. It is Nashville SC 0 and FC Cincinnati 0 from Nissan Stadium. We've got a packed halftime show for you presented by Nissan. We've got a talk with Michael Reed, the captain, Arnada Taha. Talked with him, and we'll also have stats. We'll go to break and be back from Nissan Stadium. Nashville SC 0 and FC Cincinnati 0 on a wild night by the Cumberland River.
It's been quite an amazing half here in Nashville, and we're gonna get to all the crazy highlights and everything with John and Ronnie. But first, I had some time to hang out with Captain Michael Reed, and we talked about dogs, his dad, and a lot more in this video. Hey, it's Nada, and this is Extra Time with the Captain, Michael Reed. What's up?
That's me. Hi.
That is you.
It's good to be here.
Is it good? It's good to have you.
It's good to be here.
It is so good to have you here today. We're gonna talk just a little bit about you, like let the fans get to know you. So one thing that I've heard is that you have a hidden talent.
Do I?
Yeah.
What is his talent?
Walking on stilts, apparently?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. There's a lot of falls, there's a lot of bruising, a lot of scratches and things like that.
What would you be doing if you weren't playing soccer?
A lot of thought with that. I mean, I come from a bit of a military family. Like I have aunts and uncles that were World War II, things like that. I think maybe a military family type thing. I have a great appreciation for what they do. Or soccer coach. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't really rolled that dice yet.
Okay, tell me a little bit about your dad. You've said before that he was your hero growing up.
He's my hero, yeah.
Why is that?
He had a rough upbringing, and his goal as a dad was just to give me everything he didn't have. And so, as a father figure, as just a man of character, I have the highest respect for him. He sacrificed himself, his job, and everything for his family.
So what do you like about Nashville?
It's outdoorsy. It's, I don't know. There's a lot. The people here are genuinely friendly. That's probably the best way to put it.
South, man.
It's the South, yeah. It's different. The Bible Belt, I've heard all sorts of things, and people just seem very genuine. New Mexico, it's kind of like fend for yourself type of thing. Minnesota was interesting. Atlanta had its ups and downs, but people here just seem genuinely nice, and they want to help people out, and could not be happier to be here and a part of this, and just I've always felt very welcome no matter where I went, which is something I really appreciate and enjoy.
Well, what's one thing that the Nashville fans should know about you other than the fact that you walk on stilts?
All right, I'm a massive dog fan.
There you go.
I'm a massive dog fan. I have a Rottweiler myself, and I've done all the classes with him. I train him, so anything outdoors with a dog, count me in. I love the outdoors in general. I love my dog completely, and a lot of the guys on the team love him as well. So
I'm Nada, and this was Extra Time with Captain Michael Reed. We cut a lot of this out, by the way. You're not going to see a lot of this.
I love it. I love it.
That's amazing. I mean, it doesn't get much better than talking about stilts and cats and dogs and all sorts of things, but we're going to get back into this crazy game in a minute. After the break, we'll get with John and Ronnie for the highlights.
Nissan Stadium, the venue today for an absorbing and riveting game between Nashville SC and FC Cincinnati. It is halftime, and somehow there has not been a goal scored in this one. As we welcome you back, I'm John Freeman, joined by Ronnie Woodard. And Ronnie, let's pull up the stats in this one. They speak to a dominating half for Nashville. Just about the only thing Nashville didn't do is put one in the goal. Nashville
was really sharp in this half. And there were some breakdowns throughout the match. I mean, there were a couple of major mistakes by Nashville defense that FC Cincinnati didn't capitalize. I think in the locker room right now for Cincinnati, they're going to be working really hard to counteract the opportunities that Nashville has had looked on frame. Outside of those stats, Lebo Moloto himself had just as many shots as FC Cincinnati, 5 for Moloto. Well, the system that FC Cincinnati is playing right now is in that 4 diamond in the midfield. And right now in that first half, Nashville was far more effective in the midfield play. Lebo Moloto was flying out of that midfield and getting looks on frame because the backline from Cincinnati was consistently dropping, thus leaving Lebo Moloto to roam freely in dangerous spaces and dangerous pockets. Off camera, one thing we do want to tell you about, Bradley Peshwa went down at the end of the first half, and London Woodbury is warming up for Nashville SC. We'll yet to see if there will be a substitution with Woodbury coming in for Peshwa. So that is a possibility later in this second half as we approach it. But first, it's a gorgeous night here in Middle Tennessee. Let's get our weather forecast from our friends at Fox 17.
Hello, soccer fans. I'm meteorologist Justin Chambers with your Skywatch 17 forecast. As you are leaving the game, watch for a couple of those storms that are going to be possible, especially later tonight, off and on throughout the evening time. Temperatures, though, mild as we'll get those lower 80s, finally seeing some relief from all of that heat we've had lately. And then a couple more of those pop-up storms are going to be possible on Sunday. That's what we're talking about on our future track. You'll see more of that storm activity get going into Sunday afternoon. Just be aware of that. Drive safe and have a great night.
It's a perfect night for soccer at Nissan Stadium. Those fans still waiting on the first goal of the game. Nashville SC knocked on the door for the opening 45. We'll show you the first half highlights when we return on MyTV 30 and ESPN+. The fans at Nissan Stadium still hoping for the first goal of the game as FC Cincinnati and Nashville SC in their first ever meeting. Still scoreless as we close our halftime presented by Nissan. Excited to have you with us and certainly looking forward to the next 45 minutes of soccer as we bring you up to our broadcast position. I'm John Freeman, joined by former Vanderbilt coach Ronnie Woodard. It was quite an electric first half. About the only thing we didn't have is a goal. Let's go ahead and dive right into our highlights. It started out a very combative match, two rivals meeting together for the first time, and a couple yellow cards coming out early, Ronnie.
Within 15 minutes, we had 2 yellow cards, one for Nashville and one for Cincinnati on just aggressive play. There's the first one against Lebo Moloto. And then there's the second one.
A win on Deckel Kanon, the center back. So Moloto and Kanon both with yellow cards. There were 7 more fouls in this game. And then after the teams exchanged their pleasantries, the chances started flying in. Here's a few of them for Nashville SC. Ronnie, what were they doing so well to nearly get the opening goal?
Nashville's attack from the middle to the final third was quick. It was dynamic. The runs off the ball were finding the correct pockets, and Cincinnati was having a very difficult time tracking them through the flow of the game. LaGrassa, Moloto, Wynn, and Allen were all running the entire show up there from the middle to the final third, and they were very dangerous to deal with consistently, whether it's a ball served into the box or whether it was a free look on frame. And Lebo Moloto, being the center midfielder in all of this, he was flying in and out of pockets, and Brandon Allen, in his dynamic movement off the ball, was allowing Moloto to track and get into that final third, thus making him the most dangerous target that Nashville had in the first half.
So right at the end of that highlight package, a player that you saw, number 22 in goal, that was about to kick the ball away, that was Bradley Peshwa. He was down at the end of the first half getting medical treatment. By the way it looked, the pain on his face and how he was reacting to the trainers working on his knee, he was in so much pain that we seriously doubted that he would return to this match. Peshwa is back out onto the field, giving thumbs up to the crowd. That's a good sign for the center back, who was instrumental in keeping FC Cincinnati off the board.
Well, I think the last thing that Nashville wanted to do was to start their substitutions at the beginning of the second half on a center back, especially one that's been such a vital part of the success of this team so far this season. So Bradley looks like he's going to grit it out, which I think all of Nashville can exhale a little sigh of relief. But I think the true test is going to be as soon as he opens up and starts to change directions and sprint.
2 massive clubs in this league, 2 shifting cities, just battling for position against each other. It's been building an intense pressure for quite some time, and it has erupted tonight in a magnificent way. An enthralling game that has been completely breathtaking from the start. Still waiting on that first goal. Both sides coming out of the locker room appearing unchanged. What do you look for here in the first couple minutes of this half if you're Nashville SC, Ronnie?
Well, the first thing that, us up here in the booth want to see is there any changes made from Cincinnati throughout their halftime conversations? Are they going to make adjustments in the midfield? And how are they going to deal with the players that are streaming through and getting in behind?
Ball's being kicked out of bounds to allow medical attention over to Brandon Allen. Grabbing his head for a while. He waves off the official Laurent Varga. It's been just a clash of heads between him and the center back, Forrest Lasso. How much endurance will Nashville SC have here in the second half? It's a very good second half team, Nashville is. The team has been keeping care of their bodies during this hot summer and a stretch where they had a bunch of games in a condensed time frame. They used Normatec compression boots to heal their legs. They've been utilizing cryotherapy as well. Gary Smith even telling us that some of the players using intravenous injections of vitamins into their veins to stay fresh. And every game that we broadcast for Nashville SC, usually it's the opponent that's the one cramping.
That's very
Served
true.
Nashville very well throughout this season. The knack for scoring goals late. Well, they get one here. It's Lebo Moloto bombarding into the attacking third. Lays it off for Michael Reed. The cross comes in near post. And Newton had to stay onto his line.
And Newton dropped that ball because that ball was knocked right into his hands. But again, Cincinnati is not addressing Moloto with the ball at his feet. He's going right at that last line of defense, and this time he chooses to lay the ball off into Allen Wynn.
Coca-Cola corner kick for Nashville. It's a venomous start to the second half. Immediately showing their fangs. 48th minute, Coca-Cola corner kick, Lebo Moloto. in front of the standing FC Cincinnati supporters. Peshwa squares it across the face of the goal. Matt LaGrassa loaded up the bicycle kick.
Oh, no.
And LaGrassa may have come crashing down on his head. Nashville continues to play on. Davis lofted in. Allen will square up for the bike. And it fell as far as Liam Doyle over the crossbar. How many times do you see 2 bicycle attempts in the course of 1 minute?
2 bicycle attempts and 2 players that have gotten up very slowly from their attempt.
If you ride the bike, sometimes you fall off of it too.
Absolutely. I mean, valiant effort. Here they are.
This is the LaGrassa attempt.
Oh, LaGrassa caught an errant cleat as he was getting up. Accidental contact. But that's what happens when you put your head towards the bottom of a foot area.
FC Cincinnati with 5 shots in the first half, but none of them particularly bothering Matt Pickens, the goalkeeper, who leads the USL with 8 clean sheets. Lasso tried to lace it wide for Ledesma. Was smart to play the second ball. Steps by Akinyoti, freed up that fiery left foot. He continues to struggle tonight, having a hard time getting the ball on target. Keep up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7 by following @USL Soccer on all social media platforms. If you follow those platforms, you see a lot of that man's highlights. Manu Ledesma, most likely, if they were to take votes right now, would be the USL MVP at the midway point. 15 starts, 8 goals, and 8 assists. Those 8 assists, believe it or not, are a club season record. And they are now 1 game over the midway point of the season. Battle in the trenches, won by Akinyoti. Nigerian moving forward. Doyle distributing with that cannon of his left foot towards Wynn. Beat Hoyt to the ball. Now Bradley Peshwa going to test out that injured knee. It was a heavy touch from the center back. This is going to result in a Nashville SC throw-in. It's Kimura. Game starting to settle, Ronnie, after a fiery first half. A calmer of a start here in the second.
Still a decent spell of possession and movement from Nashville so far.
Safety first clearance from Dekel Kanan, 33-year-old Israeli defender. Made 11 Champions League appearances for Maccabi Haifa. Won a full 90 against Bayern Munich and Juventus twice in his career. And a Nashville player down behind the play. And this may be the end of the night for Bradley Peshwa. He'd been laboring at the end of the first half, a gutsy effort to try and stay in this game. That'll be it for Peshwa. And in his place, man with MLS experience in London Woodbury. Interesting enough, these 2 players have swapped positions because of injuries. It was Woodbury who was the starting center back at the beginning of the season. He went down in a practice injury after the first game. That allowed Bradley Peshwa to step into the lineup in place of Woodbury. And well, once Woodbury got healthy, he had a hard time replacing the man that you see there on your screen in Bradley Peshwa. Now with Peshwa injured, it'll be Woodbury becoming the first substitute of the game.
And that's a comfortable situation for Coach Smith, having 3 very able-bodied center backs. And so knowing that Woodbury was there at the beginning, Peshwa's come in the middle and bringing Woodbury in again, I think is a comfortable place for Coach Smith. I think he's sad to see Peshwa come off, but I think he has a tremendous amount of confidence in Woodbury's ability to manage that back 4 too.
Woodbury over 50 MLS appearances for the New England Revolution. Out of the throw-in, Nashville a chance. It's LaGrassa, who's been a menace on that far side. It's a corner kick in the end for FC Cincinnati. Well, if you're Gary Smith, you never want to have to substitute out a center back because it eliminates your opportunity to bring in an attacking player late in the game.
And coaches don't like to make any significant changes to their back four. They get consistent, they get reliable, and if you've watched Nashville Soccer Club this year, the back four have been there consistently with Akinyoti in front of them and Michael Reed, and they make a nice little sixth bank of defense in front of Matt Pickens. That's why they've been so successful this season.
Now Nashville obviously with 2 subs remaining here in this game, but them having to be used to take out a defender. Shot from Abadawi, couldn't get through the defensive wall of Nashville. Abadawi will have another chance, trying to cut it in. Kimura knew exactly what he was trying to do.
Expert defensive position by Kimura. Got his body in front of the ball, in between the attacking player and the ball, and thus neutralize that attack.
LaGrassa. Tireless midfielder. His connection with Allen. Able to find Davis wide. The cross comes in, and Allen was in the area.
Nashville's
got a nick to it and touched off a Cincinnati defender and out for a corner kick.
Nashville's movement when they're in possession of the ball is incredibly dynamic. Look at these players running at this back line. I can't quite see it, but here's what we're going to see first. We're going to see Justin Davis play a bent ball off of his left foot and cleared safely by Cincinnati, resulting in a corner kick, which Nashville is incredibly dangerous on. Now, mind you, Bourgeois just came out of the game, so who's going to be their second target? We'll take your pick. You've got Liam Doyle, you've got Akinyoti, you've got Michael Reed. There are tons of good options for Nashville still left in the match.
It is the 4th Coca-Cola corner kick of the evening for Nashville SC. Without their main target, Bradley Bourgeois, who's out injured. Maloto's corner comes in short. Let's bat LaGrassa. Got his right foot to it. Couldn't get completely around the ball. Goes out harmlessly. Well, Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportsamerica.com. 56th minute, Ronnie. Did you think we would be scoreless at this point?
Never thought would be scoreless at this point. And all due respect to both teams. I wasn't sure how many goals would have been scored, but I thoroughly expected some to hit the back of the net prior to this point in the match.
This is just the first time at home for Nashville that in the second half they're attacking away from their supporters. They typically like to attack towards their supporters in the second. Gary Smith says it helps will the ball into the goal. They're attacking towards Cincinnati's traveling supporters now. Reed pondering a service. LaGrassa in a tight area. It's Lasso there to smack it away. Goes as far as Maloto. Kept it in bounds to the South African. Reed has made a run, cut it short, gets the pass from Maloto. Clipped in. Cleared out by Kanon. That's a heavy touch by Justin Davis. Ledesma way back from his forward position, a back-spinning ball. That's destroyed by London Woodbury. One of his first contributions off of the bench. Bone threads it through Ledesma. Koenig wanting the service. Instead, it's Abadawi. Probably go down as a shot and a save for Pickens.
Goalkeepers like to pad their stats sometimes. They'll take it.
Pickens allowing less than a goal per game this season. In fact, he is second in all of USL in goals against average. Very well win the Golden Glove Award at the end of the campaign. Laurent Varga, our center official. The night started with fireworks. Had to dish out a yellow card in the 16th minute. It looked like this could spiral out of control, but players have done a nice job policing themselves since. Win. It's a long service towards LaGrassa, who let it run.
So what we're seeing now in the match, and it's been pretty consistent throughout it, is Cincinnati's back four will continue to drop. What they're not doing is they're not checking into space. So when Brandon Allen checks into the midfield and plays as a sort of false nine, which means that the center forward is coming into the midfield to help create, they're not tracking him. So in essence, what's happening is that Allen is able to draw players from the midfield into him, thus releasing Moloto to be able to run in behind, or Brandon Allen can gain possession of the ball.
Ledesma, a wicked service. Rebounded back to Doyle. Walker, driven right-footed. Now Pickens had to make the save, but there was a player in a clear offside position for Cincinnati who obstructed Pickens, and that will draw the offside call, as it was Koenig who was standing in front of Pickens, and because he played the ball just enough, yeah, that's certainly considered playing the ball because it's just inches away, that affected the dive of Pickens, and therefore it is an offside call. If you are offside and the ball comes towards you and you're not in danger of touching it, it's not officially offside until you address the ball. And even though Koenig tried to get out of the way, he was involved enough in the play that it drew that whistle and denied FC Cincinnati the corner kick. Substitutes for both sides being prepared behind the goals. Cincinnati to the left of your screen, and Nashville SC to the right. Remember, Nashville SC down to just 2 substitutes because this man, London Woodbury, was brought in replacement of Bradley Peshwa 5 minutes into the second half. Nashville does have the dangerous Ropapa Mensah lurking on the bench. Also the speedy Ish Jome. Those are the 2 most likely candidates. For FC Cincinnati, you've got to think about what firepower they can bring in. The man that comes to mind, Henry Welshman. There are the Nashville SC substitutes. It's Jome there on the very far right. Long ball for Allen Wynn. He is tireless and on his horse. It's Allen Wynn into the box. Kanon appealing that it deflected off of Nashville's midfielder, and it did. That's a goal kick for FC Cincinnati.
Well, so far today, there's a couple of things that have been really apparent. Lasso and Koenig have been very, very steady. I'm sorry, Lasso and Kanon have been very, very steady. The 2 center backs have had an enormous amount of pressure on them consistently, and they've managed to keep Nashville neutralized and to keep the score even at zeros. And I think part of the reason they're under so much pressure is because the front 3 for FC Cincinnati are doing very little defending. So while Ledesma and Koenig and Aldawadi have a great attacking sense to them, they're not providing anything defensively, thus giving Nashville the opportunity to build, to create opportunities, to build through the thirds of the field, and in essence, putting the rest of the Cincinnati team down in numbers.
Nashville SC's next home game will be on Saturday, July 25th at First Tennessee Park against Atlanta United 2. Single game tickets are available online at NashvilleSC.com. The boys in gold have given up a free kick just on the tip of the attacking third. It's Manu Ledesma with that wicked left foot, whips it in. Matt Pickens punches it away. It's as far as Kenny Walker! Well, he's hit spectacular volleys earlier this year from farther away, and he nearly gives FC Cincinnati the lead on the road.
Good first save. Now look at Pickens having to get back, get across his goal, and then cover it again, because it was deflected off of a Nashville defender.
It was Allen Wynn who got his head in the way, and you wonder where that ball was destined. Well, it nearly went in anyway, but perfect form from Walker to keep that ball down.
Oh, impeccable form.
His reward is the free kick, the corner kick set to be delivered, but first some commotion in the box. That huge crowd of players right in the 6-yard box. It's the first corner kick for Cincinnati today. Did that touch an Nashville SC defender? Surely it did. Yes.
Yes. It took a second. It was funny because some of the players were stepping out, the referee was stepping out, and Kimura was getting back in defensive position. because he knew it had hit him.
Now the Nashville players were selling it. Look at them coming
Yeah,
out of the box.
see?
Yep, we're good.
They're walking
Job's
out.
done.
Kamira's still standing. He goes and retreats to his defensive position.
So here comes the second Coca-Cola corner kick of the day for Cincinnati. Same place, same man, Kenny Walker. The same commotion in the 6-yard box. A pile of bodies right in front of Matt Pickett's. Rinse and repeat.
I think Kamira just asked him to stop politely kicking the ball at me.
Kamira turned 34 years old last month. He's a veteran player, and now Gary Smith's waving him back towards the near post, and then Kamira's got to figure out where he wants to go here. Wavering in no man's land. He's retreated back towards the 6-yard box, and he's got his head to it. Defiance personified.
3 straight plays.
Kamira, the trusted swordsman of Gary Smith. Won an MLS Cup with Gary Smith in 2010 with the Colorado Rapids. Played with him in the NASL for the Atlanta Silverbacks. Followed him to Music City. It's a deep bond between a Japanese player and an English manager. Nashville trying to build this counterattack. Cut out by Ledesma with Alan Wynn applying the pressure on Newton. Brought down expertly by Al-Badawi. Corbin Bone running on. Pickens had his body to it, turned it away, parried it wide. Woodbury there to retrieve.
It seemed like there may have been a slight miscommunication between Pickens and Kamira with who was going to be managing that ball. It was definitely under pressure from Bone. Kamira was definitely in a good defensive position, and Pickens definitely could have won that ball earlier. So if you take a look at it right here, you can see the battle.
Corbin Bone does have 3 goals this season, but most of them came in the early part of the year. It's been quite some time since he's been able to bag one. It'd be a famous goal tonight if he could get it. So we dive into the 66th minute. Handball call on Bolo Akinyoti. You know it's a stingy game on the scoreboard when teams treat free kicks like this one, Ronnie. Like a real dangerous opportunity, setting it up just the way they want it.
It's like we have a shoe malfunction on the sideline.
Meanwhile, well away from the play, about 40 yards away from it, Declan Kanan, the center back for Cincinnati, that's equipment malfunction, so he's had to slide off. So right now Cincinnati will play with 10 men. As he slid off the field, he's not keeping anybody on side if there is a counterattack.
Now he's
one less player, and he's up quickly.
Yes.
Those old Copa boots.
Love it.
Find those on eBay.
Hey, those are classics.
Comes the free kick. Woodbury downfield. Alan Wynn seems to never run out of energy. Akinyoti traveling forward. Arnada Taha was down on the field. Now you got a word on the equipment for Declan Kanan.
Yeah, it just looked like they were adjusting his studs and his cleats. So nothing major.
Kanan right back at it. Natural grass surface, had to lay sod down about a week ago. Davis combining with Wynn. Cut out by Lahoud. Sierra Leone-born midfielder. Did a nice job tonight, dissolving a few Nashville SC attacks through the middle. Of course, Lahoud filling in for Richie Ryan, an iron man of a midfielder for FC Cincinnati. Race down the pass. Kamira overlapping. Grassa pondering, and Nashville will go backwards.
All started again. We can go back and talk about our topic one more time. But because of Brandon Allen's ability to check into the midfield and receive that ball, he starts the attack. Lovely ball by Kimura played in. Alan Wynn does a good job of getting there early. Puts it back across the frame, back where the ball came from. Had the goalkeeper moving. Proper spot, slightly outside.
Can't make the next match? Head to one of our 36 Middle Tennessee pub partner locations. Official pubs of Nashville SC are the perfect place to grab a pint, talk soccer, and watch every match of the 2018 season with fellow supporters. For a list of locations and more information, visit NashvilleSC.com, our town, our club, and our pubs. Obviously, watch some World Cup games there as well. As Brandon Allen hauled down and the attacking end for Nashville. Substitutes still being prepared for Nashville SC. It's an FC Cincinnati player set to check in a minute or so. He's getting his final instructions on the sideline. Now each set piece opportunity carrying even more weights as both teams try to find the first goal. What will be a long and ferocious rivalry. Nashville and Cincinnati for the first time. Meloto off some prayer to the back post. Woodbury trying to nod it back across the face of the goal. Some sturdy defending. Just taking no chances was Koenig. Got to give it back. No souvenirs. The ball goes into the crowd, unfortunately. Those are nice balls. It's a game ball. It's not a practice ball. Here's Meloto. The edge of the 18. Meloto squares it across LaGrassa. Trying to pull it backwards and nobody home. It was Michael Reed who was in the area. And so was Abadawi. Cincinnati still struggling to get this ball out of their own defensive end. Nashville putting on the press. That's how you win the ball back, pressing high, Ronnie.
And Nashville's done a great job of that today. And Cincinnati has not. They have sat back. They're defending with 6. And their front 3 have done very little major activity to help. And again, there's Brandon Allen, as we talked about earlier, in the midfield, helping create and moving that defense around, just picking the pieces apart, thus allowing now Michael Reed to get into that space behind. The dynamic movement from Nashville has been incredibly impressive today. Gary
Smith told us the game plan. He said, put Cincinnati under pressure by Nashville's fullbacks up the field, make the midfield a difficult place to play, and impose Nashville's style of play on the opponent. Nashville is a bright attacking team when they are at home, and Ronnie, you get the feeling that Nashville has imposed its style.
I think that's been obvious throughout the match. The other thing that's been a little obvious is that Ledesma and Koenig haven't wanted to do much of the work to try to create. They haven't had any dynamic movement. We all know that they're incredibly dangerous when they face up, and we all know they're very hard to deal with, and we know they're great goal scorers. But so far, Nashville has done so much work defensively on them that they've been neutralized, and they've been receiving balls in pockets that are not dangerous.
Both teams going to make a substitution for FC Cincinnati. It will be Jimmy McLaughlin. Then he will take out Manu Ledesma. Mission accomplished for Nashville SC. They have eliminated the most dangerous player in the USL, Manu Ledesma, who leaves without a goal. And for Nashville SC, it is Taylor Washington who will come in for Alan Wynn. Washington has never scored a goal in the USL, but he has got some wheels, Ronnie. They're going to put him right against Justin Hoyt, the outside back for Cincinnati, who's got to be getting tired after having defended Alan Wynn.
Fresh legs at this point in the match is essential.
Nashville does have one substitution left. FC Cincinnati with 2 at their disposal for their head coach, Alan Koch. For the visitors, their substitute, Jimmy McLaughlin, 3 MLS appearances for the Philadelphia Union, a 25-year-old midfielder. Was a big part of this team over the last 2 years, 5,000 minutes on the field, but he's taken more of a backseat role after a bunch of off-season signings. But a big chance for him tonight in front of a massive crowd in Nashville in the first ever meeting between Nashville SC and FC Cincinnati, now in the 74th minute. Cincinnati hunkering back, all 11 behind the ball. Kimura fidgeting with the lock of the defense. Kimura on an island by himself. Did out all he could do, which is earn a throw in. Reed with room to turn. Meloto through traffic. Washington wide. Here comes the cross. Kimura has ventured forward, calls off LaGrassa. Got caught in between a shot and trying to center it across the frame of the goal.
I know we've talked a lot about the quality opportunities that Nashville's had, but I think at a certain point, Coach Smith's going to demand that there's effectiveness in the final third, and the production of goal scoring is in the final third. I'm sure he's growing frustrated with the number of opportunities that have put themselves in front of that goal. As you can see from his face right there on the bench, I could see his frustration. Nashville's producing quality opportunities, and their execution has been average today with the final thought on the ball.
It's time to vote for today's Budweiser Man of the Match. Find the poll at the official Nashville SC Twitter account at Nashville SC. Top of the table, FC Cincinnati. Rising Nashville, who sits at third in the table. A win tonight would keep them in that spot. They can't catch the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who sit at second. 3 points tonight. Nashville SC possession-wise in this game, 59%, Roddy. All signs are good in this game. They have held their own against a team that has been described as, by a soccer magazine, as one of the most impressive squads ever assembled by a lower division American soccer club. Those are the words used to describe FC Cincinnati. They're unbeaten in 6 straight. They've been fully tested on the road against a hungry and dangerous Nashville SC squad. Is there one in this? Davis, low service. This is loose in the box. Brandon Allen was lurking once again. Nashville reloads with Meloto. Akinyoti. Meloto underneath his foot. Head in his hands for Meloto. He knew if he could get a touch on that, he would have been in on the target.
I have a tremendous amount of respect for everything that Cincinnati has accomplished so far this year. However, I think their side has been uninspiring today. And Nashville is going to be incredibly disappointed if they don't start converting some of the opportunities within the rhythm of the game that they've been establishing.
Cincinnati wants to get a substitute in. It's Emery Welshman, the backup striker, who's been waiting at the midfield stripe. Not been allowed to enter this one yet. I wonder who will be taking out. Will it be Danny Koenig, the striker? It's had a quiet evening. Gotten word it is Koenig who will be coming out. So both Ledesma and Koenig, Cincinnati's top goal scorers, won't finish this game. Will they be part of either a draw or a win on the road? Or perhaps a Nashville SC victory. There's the ball out of bounds that'll allow Welshman to enter. And Koenig knows it's his time. So the Danish striker leaves for a Ghanese international who's got 2 World Cup qualifiers for Ghana. Actually scored against Nashville SC in the preseason. This is Emery Welshman. Scored against Toronto FC 2 last week. He's played in every game. He's got 2 goals to show for it.
So Nashville has accomplished what their job was. They managed 2 incredibly diverse attacking players that were dangerous. 16 goals between the 2 of them, between Ledesma and Koenig, and they did an excellent job, thus forcing Cincinnati to have to make some substitutions and some changes.
Woodbury to pick out Washington. Downloads the long pass and wins the throw in front of Hoyt. Passing from Nashville, the width of the field. Ball to LaGrassa, poked along for Allen. And it dances its way through traffic. It's Matt LaGrassa! Another opportunity for Nashville. We stay scoreless, and that is Matt LaGrassa's last contribution of the game. His number being called, and in his place is Ish Jome. So Nashville out of substitutions, Ish Jome in for LaGrassa. That does mean that Ropapa-Mensah will not play in this game. Nashville's leading scorer with 5 goals this season, and well, he's a casualty of that early substitution of Peshwa having to be subbed out, the center back for Woodbury. But into the game comes Ish Jome, 23-year-old. He's acquired mid-season, has an assist to his name, some great speed. Gary Smith says one of my favorite quotes about Ish Jome is he's got pace and a trick. The trick is the step over, and the pace you will see the first time he touches the ball.
And I know we talked about Bourgeois being the, Ropapa-Mensah being the casualty of Bourgeois, early substitution. But I think this game fits Brandon Allen very well in his skill set. With a back line from Cincinnati that's retreating and allowing him to get the ball at his feet, that's a better strength for Brandon Allen than maybe Ropapa-Mensah. I know we all like the shine of Ropapa and how dangerous he is going forward. But in this particular match, we've seen Melodo be very effective running at that back line, with Allen serving as a target, which is a much better role for him than it would be for a Ropapa.
Allen has found inroads. Brandon Allen cutting it back. Brandon Allen, slide tackle in the box. Allen goes down, and now Allen's grabbing his leg, and this is not good because Nashville is out of substitutions. And Nashville's in trouble here if Allen can't go.
Let's hope it's just a kick. Let's hope he just had a knock on that double team inside of the 18.
Allen's still slow to get up.
Nope.
And the stoppage allows FC Cincinnati. Now they're going to say they cannot substitute during this injury timeout. It's a great tackle from Kanon, and then making sure was Lasso. So Allen had lost his shin guard on that play. You saw it flying like a piece of shrapnel, and I think that's where he got kicked.
Well, let's give a little shout out. Kanon did an excellent job of managing Allen when he received the ball inside the 18 in a very dangerous position, and then he managed him, held him up, and then Lasso came in and just laid down a ferocious tackle. Look at this quality defending. The first touch let him down a bit, but then he chops back. And Kanon does a great job, and then here comes the double team from Lasso. Excellent defending. Again, the 2 center backs for Cincinnati have been very good today.
Jome, his first involvement, is up in a throw-in for FC Cincinnati. During the commotion, there was a substitution. It's Russell Cicerone who came in, and he replaced Corbin Bone. Cicerone, 3 games played this year. Just 246 total minutes. Big game to throw in a seldom used player, Ronnie.
Why not? You've got, what, we're in the almost 82nd minute. It's clear that Cincinnati is okay with a draw and 1 point on the road today. It's also very clear that Nashville feels a sense of urgency to get the 3 points and the win being at home.
Interestingly enough, Cincinnati is the best road team in the USL Eastern Conference. In fact, 20 of their 34 points this season have come on the road. Only lost 1 of their last 11 road matches going all the way back to last season. If they can hold on for a 0-0 draw here, obviously that wouldn't be a loss, so that stat would continue. Nashville still wanting to have the final say in front of tonight's Ashton Real Estate attendance of 18,228. They would go ballistic if Nashville can get a goal here at the end against top of the table FC Cincinnati. They have had their chances, Nashville has. They have knocked on the door all evening. They have failed to break it down. Melodo has been inventive all evening. Fresh legs of Joe. Sure feet from Liam Doyle. Kamira, the attacking end. 11 behind the ball for the visitors. 84th minute. Woodbury, the substitute, came in about 5 minutes into the second half in replace of the center back Bradley Peshwa. Nashville prodding, needling away. Trying to find a little crack in this defense. Try and go route one to Taylor Washington. Turns on the Jets. Closed down by Blake Smith. Able to win the throw in. Quickly takes it towards Reed. He's got Abdawi draped onto his back. Nashville's got to be careful. They can't leave themselves too vulnerable for the counterattack. And here comes FC Cincinnati on the run. Recovering is Woodbury. Has it taken out of his feet. Cicerone! Save made by Matt Pickens. He had been merely a spectator this half in maybe the biggest game of the season. He makes the biggest save.
Well, this is incredibly difficult for a goalkeeper to do. Be sitting there and basically, as you've said, be a spectator and stay engaged in the game and come out and be called upon to make an enormous save. And that's exactly why Matt Pickens is one of the best in the league.
Sets up a corner kick, though, for FC Cincinnati, which they don't seem too interested to commit numbers forward. Flies back post for Lasso. Doyle may have been the one to knock it out. He was. The corner kick from the opposite side. That would have been a devastating goal for FC Cincinnati. In front of a huge crowd at Nissan Stadium.
That would have crushed a spirit. There's no doubt about it. But big players make big plays at big times, and that's exactly what we just saw with Matt Pickens.
Those are two big center backs, Doyle and Lasso. Both around 6'4". Like the last couple corners, Cincinnati not crowding the 6-yard box of Matt Pickens. Comes in near post, glancing header, just wide. In FC Cincinnati showing its fangs late. It was Forrest Lasso nearly with the opener.
What a tremendous ball by the Welshman. Is that how he played that? Yeah.
The corner came in from Kenny Walker.
Sorry, Kenny Walker. Tremendous ball by Kenny Walker. And what an attack of that. Oh, fantastically executed by Cincinnati. And that's, again, picking and choosing your moments and executing when called upon. Two very dangerous opportunities for Cincinnati down the stretch that Nashville have had to be significantly better to manage their attempts.
Is there more than a point in this for FC Cincinnati? For nearly silent second half for them from an offensive standpoint, they now look like the brighter side, and they're asking questions of Nashville SC. Abdawi, Nasbi Abdawi swinging it wide, and offsides is the call on Cicerone. Just a hair over and behind the back line. Nashville SC looking to get the ball downfield quickly. It's Brandon Allen who's on an island. Forrest Lasso wins the header. Cincinnati slow to recover here. Nashville moving forward with Reed. Is there an epic finish in this? For Nashville, for the second time this season, play a scoreless draw at Nissan Stadium. The only other time they've played in this facility was a 0-0 draw in the first USL home game of the season. It was against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who now sit second in the table. Washington trying to find some late drama. Doyle prospecting. Joe loves to put it onto his left foot. He's got a great step over too. Denied by Lahoud. Smashed away by McLaughlin. Nashville reloads. Tonight's Budweiser Man of the Match voted on by you is number 10, Lebo Melodo. Leads the team in shots tonight. Hit the post in the first half. Is there one in it for Maloto as Brandon Allen, who's trying to find him? Desperate defending from Cincinnati. And Abadawi takes it away from Doyle. Tried to slip it through, running on is Emery Welshman. Oh, what a save by Pickens! Doorstep denial from Pickens. In the 89th minute, Cincinnati coming right back. It's Lahoud wide for Hoyt. Now it's Nashville looking like they're trying to hold on. McLaughlin into the corner. Policed by Davis and Joe. It's out for a throw-in for Cincinnati. Well, right when we thought the visitors were trying to settle for a point, they nearly stole 3. 90th minute. Still awaiting word on how much stoppage time we may see. Davis's clearance went off the back of a Nashville defender, I believe. No, it went off a Cincinnati player. So it will be a goal kick for Nashville SC in just 2 minutes of stoppage time. We had a Bradley Bourgeois injury early in the second half, and a bunch of substitutions. A Brandon Allen injury, and 2 minutes is not very generous from the officiating crew. Is there a moment of magic in this for Nashville? Lodo trying to turn in on his defender. Tension builds. Both teams throwing prayers into the night. McLaughlin. Watched by a jogging Michael Reed. Cicerone. Tracking back was Washington.
Throughout the second half, there's been moments that have been absolutely lulling us to sleep, produced by the low-pressure defending of Cincinnati. But since the substitutions have come into the game, in addition to those, there's been a new life that's come out for Cincinnati. And they've been on the front foot, and they've been attacking, and they've created more opportunities in these final waning minutes of the game.
Welshman the forward, the edge of the 18, watched by Woodbury. Welshman able to turn on Woodbury. Less than a minute of stoppage time to go. Cincinnati has had almost exclusive possession in stoppage time. Welshman, again watched by Woodbury. Lahoud switching the point of attack. Davis went sliding in. He distracted Hoyt enough to earn the throw-in. Or did he? I'd say it was last touch by Davis. Cincinnati restarts. Foot of the Englishman, Hoyt. With the head of Cicerone, trying to run it down in the corner. Ball comes in quickly to Matt Pickens with just seconds remaining. He wants to get it down this field quickly. It's one last chance for Nashville, but they got to hustle.
They're going to have to get forward quickly.
Players can't see how much stoppage time is ticked off. All they can see is 90 on the scoreboard. Once Nashville can win this possession in the midfield, that should be, and all eyes on Laurent Varga, the center official. Walker puts his foot on the gas pedal. Cicerone on the sideline. We're past the added 2 minutes. Hoyt.
Interesting. He hasn't checked his watch.
Hoyt cutting in into the attacking third. It's Hoyt to Welshman, trying to dance his way through, went down. Abadawi with a crack at it, destroyed by Akinyoti, and now Nashville a chance to counter, but the final whistle sounds. And in the first meeting between Nashville SC and FC Cincinnati, the teams go all out. The #1 team in the table, the #3 team in the table, and that right there is the result. 0-0 and exhaustion all around.
Great match, and entertaining, end-to-end, filled with high-intensity play, great defending, good opportunities on frame, bit of a chess match at different points in the match, depending on which side had possession of the ball.
So Nashville 0 and FC Cincinnati 0. We've got highlights and stats for you, but they'll come after this break. The first ever encounter between Nashville and Cincinnati It had some fireworks. There will be some post-game fireworks as well for the fans. But we end in a 0-0 draw, a point apiece for Nashville and Cincinnati. Over 18,000 fans at Nissan Stadium tonight, and they go home without a goal to see. Nashville SC and FC Cincinnati 0-0 is the final. Both teams gather a point. Nashville moves to 27 points on the year. FC Cincinnati continues its unbeaten streak. They are now unbeaten in 7 straight. They stay top of the table and move to 35 total points in the campaign. Nashville SC is now near the midway point of the season and still 3rd in the USL Eastern Conference standings. I'm John Freeman, joined by Ronnie Woodard. It's time now to take a look at tonight's pinnacle save of the game, and what a save it was, Ronnie. It came late. It was Matt Pickens making it to preserve 1 point for Nashville SC. What a stop on Emery Welshman.
Great timing, and again, great goalkeeping. Always displayed. Consistent body positions down, makes a backhand save. Sheer athleticism, keeping his eye on the ball. Look at this right here. Opposite side, gets up, retains the ball, and then tries to immediately start a counterattack.
So that was our pinnacle save of the game for Matt Pickens. He extends his league-leading clean sheet record to 9 total games this season. That leads the USL. He's now over 80% save percentage for this season. You're going to hear some booms in just a couple seconds. That's because in 30 seconds, they're going to ignite some fireworks above the stadium. The fans are still milling around the stadium as we pull up our stats. First of all, let's tell you, Nashville SC thanks our corporate partners, Nissan, Vanderbilt Health, Dex Imaging, Budweiser, Puckett's, Kroger, Heineken, Coca-Cola, MyTV30, Fox 17, and Pinnacle Financial. And, well, Ronnie, Nashville outshoots FC Cincinnati 20-12. There were not 5 red cards in this matchup. it felt combative. Not 10 red cards, but yes. Long story short, even looking at the stats, but also just with the eye test, Nashville took it to Cincinnati for the majority of this game and just couldn't quite get that first and only goal. No, they could not. I think it's a disappointing result for Nashville. I think it's a quality performance
with a lack of execution in that final third from the creativity that they showed in their dynamic runs off the ball. I think it was mission accomplished for Cincinnati, who came in, was content getting a point on the road, and probably actively enjoying those fireworks right now.
0-0 is our final tonight from Nissan Stadium. There were fireworks from the opening start. The only thing we didn't have was a goal in this one. Both teams take away a point apiece. I want to say a big thank you to everybody involved in our broadcast, for my color partner, Ronnie Woodard, and Natataha down on the field. I am John Freeman saying so long from Nissan Stadium. Nashville SC back in action on MyTV 30 on Wednesday night. They will face the Charlotte Independents, a 6 o'clock kickoff. We will talk to you then. It was a wild night, the first ever meeting between Nashville and FC Cincinnati. Chances abound, a couple close opportunities for Nashville, including hitting the post. Big volleys as well. Somehow we come away without a winner in the inaugural match between these two long rivals for the long future. What a night it was at Nissan. 0-0 the final. Thank you so much for watching.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.